Greetings, Mugwumps. That was Metal on Metal by Anvil, because we're going to talk about heavy metal. This is a heavy metal special, and I'm going to show you a really special heavy metal album. But first, what do you think of this little gadget? This is made of metal. In fact, it's handmade with forks, spoons, and they call it forked up art. These are imported from America, and I use them to rest my record sleeves on and things like that. Cool, huh? Yeah, rather. Anyway, these little items were being sold in a craft fair I went to last week, and I met this rather interesting gentleman called Alan Casimir, who's the managing director of the Eyeglass Holding Company Limited. And what a refreshing man he is, because he's very much the entrepreneur. He's there at the craft fair, very professional, very smart man, and he's not on the internet. So he's a bit like me. He's a bit of a dinosaur, a bit of a vinyl junkie in the digital age. Well, as you see, I do use digital things like Spotify, but this chap is only partially digital. He does have an email address and he has a phone number. So if you want items like this that I've just shown you, and he's got loads to choose from, ones that will hold you salt and pepper pots and ones for napkins, all kinds of ironmongery he does, imported from America. Here's how you contact him. So first, I'll show you his card. That's good old-fashioned business-like promotion, isn't it? Handing out business cards. And I'll give you verbally who and what he is. The Eyeglass Holding Company Limited. Alan Casimir is the managing director. You can get him on 07984 923 383. His email is kwg1954 @gmail.com. So kwg1954 @gmail.com. And Alan is based up in Lincolnshire. So there's a shout out for Alan. I promised him, he gave me a little deal on this, right? So I promised him a shout out in one of my videos. Right, so on with the video. A clue to the album we're going to talk about today is right here, right now. We're also going to invoke, that's a word, isn't it? Invoke the use of my trusty record player. You've seen other videos where I constantly go on the Spotify and do everything digitally. Well, in today's one, we're actually going to play a record. Now, the record I've got for you today to recommend on vinyl, I bought on Record Store Day recently. You may remember I was talking about some other releases I bought that day, including one from Slade. Well, this is not Slade. And what was interesting about this Record Store Day release wasn't just the colour of the vinyl specifically for this record, but the fact that it's probably the last record fans of this band would ever actually go out and buy. So, in the, diversifying for a moment, in the record sleeve we found a rather lavish booklet. Look at this. And it's called Black Sabbath, The 10-Year War. And this lavish booklet that comes with the album basically has 10 years of press cuttings, good and bad, warts and all, about Black Sabbath. And as you can see, it's beautifully illustrated in a cartoonish kind of manner. And the members of the band, Bill Ward, Tony Iommi, Ozzy Osbourne and Geezer Butler, are depicted there in rather fine style. And it's a lovely, lush thing to get with an album that you don't expect. And right there at the back, you've got all the infamous Black Sabbath albums all put there. And the front of the, so it's a kind of discography. And the front of the book looks like that. Black Sabbath, The 10-Year War. More good press than most, more bad press than any. What a boast. And there on the back is a depiction of the cover of the album we're going to have a look at today. It's called Never Say Die. And by the way, I always sleeve my albums in Vinyl Keeper plastic protection sleeves, which I buy from a very good record shop that I go to in Leighton Buzzard. We'll say no more about that. Anyway, This is the album. It's called Never Say Die, and it was the last album made by the full original lineup of Black Sabbath, including Ozzy Osbourne. After the release of this album, not that long after, Ozzy was sacked from Black Sabbath, and other people, including Ronnie James Dio, stood in his shoes. I actually saw them live with Ronnie James Dio. Now, the single from this album, Never Say Die, is rather good. And so too, surprisingly, is the rest of the album. I'm promoting this today and telling you about it because I think it's the most underrated Black Sabbath album released. Members of the group don't even like the album. Here's the inner sleeve with a list of all the tracks there. Some more wonderful artwork there. They certainly never spared any expense when they were making their albums look fantastic. And here it is. Let's have a look at the actual record itself. Here it is, resplendent on blue and clear vinyl. I'm going to go right up there so you can get a right close-up of that fantastic album. And as you can see, BMG, who've released this vinyl version, have done a depiction of the original Vertigo record label. So, we place it on our trusty turntable. From another favourite record shop of mine in Amersham, I also got this rather interesting tool, because I did say we'd talk about care of your records, didn't I, a while back. I'll switch the trusty record player on. As you can see, the disc is now spinning, and this will be positioned on this spindle here in a few moments when the record plays, because this will keep the dust from settling on the record. Records are made of vinyl, and as such they are charged with static electricity and actually attract dust. You probably knew that, but if I don't go be thorough in these videos, somebody might moan, mightn't they? So let's have a go at the first track on this record, Never. Whoops. You can tell this is live, can't you? Never Say Die by Black Sabbath. Right. Let's rock! So there's a taste of Black Sabbath from their album Never Say Die, a piece of the title track. When I played the album, my image of Black Sabbath is of a doom, gloomy band. But when I read about this album, how underrated it was, how overlooked it had been, and the reason that a lot of the heavier, more ardent Black Sabbath fans hated it was because they saw it as a sellout, a bit of a pop album compared with previous Black Sabbath albums. The band were also supposedly running out of ideas. They were drug-addled and riddled with problems and internal strife. Now, I don't know about you, but I often go for the underdog. My favourite Slade album, for example, sold less than any of the others. And so too, my favourite Black Sabbath album is this one. And yet it wasn't their best or their most successful. But there's something about the album that I love. We're going to play the first track now on side 2. I hope I won't muck this up, right? This is called Shock Wave. Let's get lined up. So we're going to rock with Black Sabbath. This track's called Shock Wave, and it starts off side 2 of the album. And again, I think it's really good. Great riffing. And Tony Iommi there. So I'm going to leave that playing in the background as we finish off. So, I recommend this album to everyone. You get this wonderful booklet with it, which is fantastic. It's on clear and blue spattered vinyl with the original design of the Vertigo label in the middle there. The track listing is on the inner sleeve, not on the outer sleeve. And the album is Black Sabbath, Never Say Die! Rock on, everybody! Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. We need to get our numbers right up there. We'll do some more real soon, guys and gals. Shockwave, Black Sabbath.